Welcome back. Welcome in to the MCT podcast. Tade and I here with the MCT podcast. Tade, are you excited?
Oh, I'm very excited. Welcome, everybody.
You want to know why I'm excited today, Tade? We have
Chris.
with us a guest host for the week. That's right,
him?
Michael Robinson.
Hi.
Welcome back to the show, Michael Robinson. How are we doing, buddy?
I am doing fan-freaking-tastic. This is a family-friendly show, of course. I'm doing fantastic. So happy to be here and be back hanging out with you guys again. And this is going to be a great show. What do you guys think? I'm so happy you guys had me on as a guest this week. I felt really honored by that.
Yeah, it's now the
been about a month
CT
since
podcast.
It's been about a month since we've seen you, so we wanted to make sure we got with your people and scheduled a meeting and got you here. We know you're in high demand. It's tough to get you on the show for 2 hours at a time. So I appreciate you carving out this little time for us tonight. It's a good time to see you. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Awake nonetheless.
Awake.
Good to have you back. Awake nonetheless.
Even better.
You guys never played that clip, and I hate you guys.
No, we
That's
sure didn't.
Hilarious.
We sure didn't. We'll keep that in our back pocket, I think, forever. Basically, until they figure out how to put videos on repeat on loop forever and tombstones. That's about the only time we're going to put that clip anywhere.
So we're going to post it on the 3C Media TikTok then?
Exactly.
It's probably not a bad idea. All right, guys. It has been a couple of weeks since we've done a show at all. So first and foremost, we want to apologize for that. Had stuff going on, couldn't get to it, but you know what? We're making time today. We're super excited to be back. And what better time of year to come back? It is just about October, which I don't know about you guys, but October is my favorite month for sports. March Madness is fantastic and it's amazing. But listen, October is really where everything culminates. We obviously get baseball playoffs, which means so much to me, no matter even if my AAA Cubs are in the hunt or not. We're in the football season, like we're in a regular season. We're getting it. We're on that grind. Basketball today, right around the corner. We're less than a month away from opening night. We got
10
some
days
great
for
matchups.
the preseason.
And there we go. And we've got some great matchups already. College football, obviously in swing as well, right alongside football. So October it feels like everything kind of culminates. Even the NHL gets going if I have that timing right. So I mean, it feels like so much is happening and going on in October. It's really that wonderful time of year where it always seems like there's some sports event to turn on or tune into or catch up on. Whereas, the summer kind of drags, especially if you're not a baseball fan. And, March, even like football's been done for a little bit. Baseball is kind of starting. So you're excited, but then it gets into that little lull. And so I don't know. It's just October for me always is just the culmination of everything sports. So are you guys excited? I'm talking so much. Are you guys excited? Like we got a lot to get into though.
Always excited for football season because every year you have some sort of weird expectation of what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden it just gets blown out of the water. And then turns out you're just crazy and you're overreacting the entire thing because it's only been 2 weeks.
Exactly. And not only that, this year's special because we have 17 games. So now not only do we have to temper our expectations 2 weeks into like a 16 game season, we have to temper them even more because we're like, holy bleep, we got 15 games left. We haven't even really kicked this thing off. We don't know a goddamn thing.
Exactly.
But that's a great intro and a great segue into we're just going to block out the first good chunk of the show, just kind of talking the NFL. We're going to catch you guys up on 2 weeks of fantastic NFL action. We've had some monumental games and matchups already. I mean, heavy hitters out the gate, you guys. And we've got some surprise teams. I mean, we've kind of had it all 2 weeks in. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it. Let's just kick it off this way. What has caught your guys' eye the most 2 weeks and one game into the season?
I'm going to have to go with the rebirth of Sam Darnold because him coming out of New York, a lot of people said, oh, Carolina kind of blew that trade. They should have kept Teddy Bridgewater. He'd be a great backup. Like, Sam Darnold had something to prove. He had that big chip on his shoulder. And he finally went out there and proved this is why I was a first-round pick. And somebody pointed out something really weird. Every time someone has moved on from Adam Gase, they have done extremely well. Ryan Tannehill. Actually, hold on. Somebody pointed out something really weird. Like the high school Adam Gase went to when he graduated, their football team won a state championship. Like even going that far back. Like,
that's so sad.
That's you know what that is? That's not even like, oh, this is just a fun fact. Let's figure it out. No, that is straight hate. That is like I have to dig into this man and find every little nugget that I can to take him down. Even his high school won without him after he left. He sucks. Like that's all that is. That's that sitting in your basement seething with revenge and rage and just, the I built a shrine of hate to this man level.
Shout out
of
to the
like,
Pat McAfee show. Shout out to the Pat McAfee show for giving me that information. I heard that this morning. I'm like, I'm gonna sit on this. This is absolute
I feel
gold.
like they got that from Reddit then, because I saw it on Reddit.
Probably it's Gumpy. Who knows? But
so,
what was he at? Like 888 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah,
like that is nuts from the man who was seeing ghosts and has now passed that fear onto Zach Wilson. But that's a whole other conversation.
So the ghost of Joe Namath.
It's the Jets. I don't know how many times we have to prove this, that it's not the player. When it comes to the New York Jets, it pretty much has never been the player. It's the organization. There's something just severely broken in that entire organization. And I know it's, Adam Gase may not be the perfect coach, not even close, but it's also not him. It's not like this culture and this problem showed up when he showed up. The Jets have been the Jets.
Mark Sanchez would like to disagree.
Damn near my whole life.
The Sanchez.
Dude, listen. The more and more dismay that the Jets get into, the more and more that just proves that team, those couple of AFC title teams, with Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez, they won in spite of the Jets, not because of them. Like they were that good at that time that like they were the only ones, able to even win 10 games and win 2 playoff games somehow out of nowhere, and beat Peyton Manning and the Colts in Indy once. Like that was all done in spite of the Jets, not as a part of the franchise. So
why'd you have to bring up Peyton's last game, man?
Because I love to hurt myself and everybody around. That's what I do best. Tade, what have you learned 2 weeks into the season? Or what's caught your eye? What's standing out so far?
It kind of goes the same thing with what Michael said. If you think about it, all of the bargain QBs out there have done a decent job. So the Teddy Bridgewaters,
sure,
the Andy Daltons, Andy Dalton did great his first game. Come on, then he got injured.
And also, are you calling him a bargain quarterback? They are paying him $10 million for one season. That ain't no bargain.
That's a bargain
for a man who's never won a playoff game in damn near 12
he still
years.
Wins games. And then you got Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, bargain QBs they're not max contracts, they're bargain bins.
That's not. There's the whole middle ground between
bargain
top
bins.
dollar.
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
no one wanted any of them. These are all QBs nobody wanted.
Heineke is a bargain bin QB, I'd argue.
Everybody
wants him now. He's bargain bin.
If nobody wanted them, why are they on teams today? You know who's a bargain bin quarterback that nobody wants? Tim Tebow. Move on.
I'm talking about people who are starting in the NFL that no one likes, that you're not going to pick up for your draft class. Who's going to have Carson Wentz in their starting lineup for fantasy? You have Chris. No, you don't. Michael, no, you don't. Neither of you guys have Carson Wentz starting in your lineup right now. I can look
fair.
up.
He's my backup for. I've got him.
I'm gonna pull it up, Michael. I don't believe you.
Not in that league.
Exactly, not in that league. If he was good enough, you'd have drafted him. He's still available.
Because this dude, Chris over here, took him the pick before me.
Then trade for him if you think he's good.
But we're gonna pull it up right here.
Oh my
Two
God,
bargain
so
bin
bright.
QBs right
How
there.
good are you in that league, Michael?
Two bargain bin QBs. I am 2-0.
2-0 in spite of Carson Wentz.
All right, okay. Let's put Carson Wentz specifically aside because y'all know we're gonna deep dive on the Colts. So
Teddy
let's save
Bridgewater's
it.
getting tossed around like a French prostitute, and guess what? He's still good.
Fantastic. Love the color. Love the color. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I feel like there's a lot of things we've seen and potentially have learned 2 weeks in, and the route I'm gonna take is I don't know. I feel like I'm beating on a dead horse, but it's gonna be fun. The Lions are still the Lions. Getting a guy like Jared Goff is a step up. It really is. But when you're the Detroit Lions, you don't need a step up. You need an escalator. So it's only gonna do so much for your team. Now, granted, like I said, I'm beating a dead horse here, and they've played San Francisco and Green Bay. So it's not like they've lost, to Jacksonville and then Houston. So I give them some credit. They did hang in with San Francisco. That was a 1-possession game in week 1. They only lost 41-33. So their defense obviously collapsed, giving up 40 points. But their offense with Jared Goff at least looked improved, scored 33. Week 2, they hung with Green Bay for the first half, and then Green Bay made a couple of nice plays. Defense woke up, and Green Bay does what Green Bay does and ran away with it in the division game, ended up winning that 35-17. So they're averaging giving up defensively 38 points a game. Obviously, that's a very skewed number 2 games into the season, but you're not going to win a lot of games giving up 30-plus points. And you're not going to win a lot of games when you're the Detroit Lions. But honestly, even outside of all that, the biggest surprise of the year, guys, and again, I'm taking cheap shots, but that's what I'm here for. Houston won a game. Like, Houston won a football game in week 1.
With the god, Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor is legit. Tyrod Taylor is legit.
He's won a Super Bowl.
But who does he have?
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
So there's one quarterback and one receiver there, and you're like, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Ingram.
And it's Jacksonville.
53.
Yeah, he beat Jacksonville. What do you want from him, Chris?
Look, I'm just saying.
He's not facing Tampa Bay. He's not facing the Rams.
I'm just saying. The final thing I've learned, actually, I didn't learn it because I already knew it, and everybody else needs to learn it and catch the heck up. Don't ever count out Aaron Rodgers. I don't know why we have to keep doing this crap. We're like, oh, he's got a bad game and he loses in week 1 to the Saints. So he's obviously done forever and should never touch football again. And then comes out and throws 5 touchdowns and thank fantasy team. He threw 2 of them to Aaron Jones. I appreciate you, Aaron Rodgers, looking out for me, giving me Aaron Jones 42 points that night so I could get a comeback Monday night win. Thank you.
Against who?
Against who?
Yeah.
Also, I
don't know.
he played that game in Jacksonville, and we all know his record in Jacksonville.
Yep.
Which is hilarious,
So,
the amount of penny.
Oh, it's amazing. Shout out the Saints because it clearly worked, right? It clearly worked. So kudos, because the Saints didn't look like the week 1 Saints did not look like the week 2 Saints. And guess what? Welcome to the Jameis Winston experience, New Orleans. Take your ticket, have fun. It's gonna be a hell of a ride.
Hey, this is LASIK eye surgery, Jameis. This is an old
right.
Jameis.
So the highs are going to be higher, like week 1 where he threw 5 beautiful touchdowns and just dismantle the Green Bay Packers, and the lows are going to be so much lower when he throws 3 picks and no touchdowns in week 2. Have fun, New Orleans.
It could be worse. He could be 5-5 on touchdowns and interceptions, but he's
you know
not.
What? I'll give you this much. It's entertaining as hell, okay? If you're in New Orleans, think about going from clean-cut 20 years of clean-cut Drew Brees, and you're taking that and you're going to we don't know who's showing up today.
This is what he gets.
Wait, what? Sean McVay coaches the Rams.
Whoever's the name of the guy coaches.
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, that's who it is.
Fair enough.
No one likes him.
So,
I'm glad I never won a second Super Bowl.
One more surprising thing I feel like I need to add. Have you guys watched Monday Night Manning?
I can't. I wanted to. I have not been able to. I need to find a way to do it. I need to find a feed.
I watch the highlights
on
TikTok. It's great.
It is
nice,
amazing watching how much Peyton prepares as if he's playing for both teams. And if you're just
surprised at
nerd,
all?
Well, if you're a football nerd,
Eli, what do you mean?
Booger. Eli is also just awkwardly there making forehead jokes, and I'm here for it because I swear to
Payne
God,
got offered the ESPN job, and he's like, "I gotta go with my brother, Eli. You're doing this. What? I'm retired.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Aww.
Your forehead's big.
That makes me think of. Have y'all seen that T-Mobile commercial with Tom Brady and Gronk?
Yeah.
That's what that makes me think of. That's where Peyton's like, "Hey Eli, you're getting out of retirement. You're coming with me." He's like, "But why?" Okay, look, I can't stand Tom Brady. Yeah, I can't stand Tom Brady, and I love Gronk. That commercial is perfection, okay? On a crappy network, because Tom freaking Brady and Rob Gronkowski are on crappy phone networks because they definitely don't have the money to be getting solid phone call connections. You're right.
They're LeBron James cheap. They don't pay for that Spotify.
But I love it. Go to Tampa, win another Super Bowl. He's like, well, I'm coming to Tampa and I'm bringing Gronk. Gronk doesn't know.
The greatest tight end of all time.
Facts. He's already got 4 touchdowns on the year, two weeks in.
Gronk was just talking smack to Peyton during the Packers game, just talking constantly about how he was going to beat his record. His record won't stand. Every single sentence Gronk said would just be followed up with, we're going to beat, well, your record's not going to stand. We're coming after your record, Peyton. Constantly going after him, and Eli is just
here for it. I'm sure.
Eli's just like, I beat you twice, Gronk. What do you want?
What do you want to
do? You see these right here?
Wait, no, he wasn't on the team the first one.
No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was
think how old team. That. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
2012 was that Super Bowl, right? Or was it 2011? Well, it was in Indianapolis, right?
That was the second one.
I know. I'm talking about the second one.
Yeah, the first one was 2012. Yeah. Because Eli won. Eli won in Indianapolis.
10 years since Gronk lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was second. That was Eli's second. Was the one in 2012.
Yeah,
was that
his first one. The first one was 2000. Like what? 7, 8?
Yes. It was so the Colts won. Listen. The Colts won Super Bowl 41 in the 2006 season. Okay.
Yeah.
The Giants won the next year over the Patriots in 42, in 2007 into 2008.
Back when they made good logos for the Super Bowl. Yep. So we've had an exciting 2 weeks so far. We've had some killer matchups and some great endings. We've seen the Vikings pull off the Minnesota unmiracle and miss a 37-yarder at the end of the game against Arizona to falter there. Speaking of Arizona, guys, are they the surprise team of the NFL so far? I know everybody kind of had high expectations, but listen. The way they've played, I think, is still better than people expected. Okay? Kyler Murray might F around and win an MVP. I'm telling y'all right now. Who'd they beat?
Who'd
they beat?
Tennessee and Minnesota.
Exactly.
2 division teams. Well,
Tennessee has horrible defense, and Minnesota's garbage.
But Tennessee is still an expected playoff team, and they dismantled them.
Yeah.
You have to give extra props for that performance.
But they horrible defense on that team. Even Tennessee fans know they don't have a defense.
Okay, but they still stopped Tennessee's offense. Derrick Henry didn't go off. I mean, are you going to give?
You can say basically that Seattle Seahawks are the same as the Cardinals because they beat the same exact teams.
Except Seattle lost to Tennessee in week 2 in overtime.
No, did they beat them?
No.
Oh wait, no, yeah, they lost because they couldn't get that safety called. That's right.
So my point is, not only do you need to respect Arizona, I think we need to give them extra props for how they've performed 2 weeks in, because they look incredible out the gate. And Kyler Murray, I'm serious, might F around and win an MVP. If you want my hot take so far, that's what I'm seeing. Kyler Murray might win an MVP this year.
But here's the thing with Kyler. He always starts hot. The Cardinals always come out and look pretty, at least decently good, especially just Kyler Murray. eventually some point down the road, there's some hiccups. I'm not saying that's going to happen, as I had very high expectations of the Cardinals. I expected them to be good, especially in the start, and I expected the acquisition of J.J. Watt to help propel them into a possible division championship, if not better.
You say that. You did.
But it's happened every year. So am I like going to start throwing down bets on Kyler to win MVP and Arizona to go to the Super Bowl? No. Yes. No.
Now would be the perfect time to do that. Throw $10. Tade, you're my betting aficionado. Can you do me a favor right now?
I'm checking right now what the
I would love. Yes. Listen to me. This is how I want to hear it. Okay. If I was to put $10 down on Kyler Murray winning MVP right now and $10 down on them winning the Super Bowl, so I'm investing $20. Tell me what my payout is, please. I would appreciate that.
Let me find the odds for Murray.
You're fine.
Right,
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. So if you put $10 down on Kyler Murray to win MVP, the odds are plus 1,800. So you'll get $180 profit if you put $10 down.
Okay.
If you do, so who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Yep.
They are at plus 3,500. So you'll win $350 profit. And if you parlay that, you're not allowed to parlay it on DraftKings. I can't see.
Okay.
But my God, those odds would break the bank. Let me tell you.
So right now, if I would put $20 in and I would profit out nearly 500. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would take that money and run.
I'm future MVP right here. Dolphins going to the playoffs, winning the Super Bowl. Let's see how much I would get.
Oh, I would love to see that.
No odds for him because Tua's listed and not him.
All right, guys. So yeah. Anyway, we've had a fun first 2 weeks of the season.
Time out real quick. Taylor Heineke has a higher chance of winning the MVP award than Carson Wentz.
Okay.
I just want to put that out there.
So perfect, because that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about those Indianapolis Colts. All right. So we looked at the schedule. We know what we were coming into as Colts fans. Okay. They had two very, 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 very tough opening games. Luckily at home, but still incredibly tough games against Seattle and then the LA Rams. Also, we knew that the Colts coming into this year have lost 7 straight season opening games. Okay. So we knew all of this coming into it. So here's what happened. Week 1, they end up losing to Seattle in what ended up being a bit of a high scoring game than maybe we're expecting. Mm-hmm. And couldn't quite finish off the comeback. And the same kind of thing happened in week 2. Couldn't quite finish off the comeback. Couple of different reasons things happened in the Seattle game in LA. In my opinion, the week 2 game hurts a little bit more because you can't help but think, damn, if Carson Wentz doesn't get snapped in half by Aaron Donald and can possibly go that last drive, there's a good chance they find a way to get a field goal or even win and then eventually win that. Like, you feel, I hate playing the what if game, but that moment really lends itself to it, where you're like, damn, if only Wentz could have gone with the way he was looking and moving the offense, you'd like to think the odds were in favor of getting into field goal position at least with a minute 20 and a timeout, right? That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, that's a completely fair assessment.
Fair. So that one hurts. The Seattle one doesn't even really surprise me that they lost because, like I said, Seattle's a really, really good team. They had lost 7 straight season openers, so you almost just instantly chalk it up. And watching that game reminded me of Andrew Luck running around for his life and nobody able to protect him. So I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised at all that they weren't able to complete that comeback and win that game either. So anyway, where we stand right now with the Colts, they're 0-2. First question out the gates, on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me your guys' panic meter and why for the whole season? Where are we panicking on these Colts right now at 0-2 heading into week 3?
1. I'm not too worried about it because of how early it is in the season. I've, of course, been frustrated in the middle of these games, and we've been talking live during the games, so you guys already know how I've felt about it. But Carson Wentz has been able to move the ball in a way that Phillip Rivers couldn't, especially at the start of last year. Sure. He isn't making those game-breaking turnovers either. Yep. However, the dude needs to learn when to let a play die. He is not an asset to us on the sideline, and Jacob Eason showed that. He might not be ready for prime time. Now, that's unfair because that was an impossible situation, but you need your guy out there.
Why? I'm sorry to interrupt, but like if I'm Frank Reich, okay, and I know that, holy crap, now I've got to throw Jacob Eason into a 2-minute warning to win this game. And I don't have time to like get him ready or tell him what to do. Like, I've got time to tell him one thing. What's the one thing I'm going to tell him? Like, don't throw it at Jalen Ramsey. Just stay away from him. Just stay away.
Stay away from number 2.
No,
do not go.
No, just stay away from Jalen Ramsey. You can't run the ball, Tade. You got a minute 20 and you need 40-some yards.
You can still run the ball.
No.
You're the best running back core in the league.
Yeah, not through 2 weeks, I'll tell you what. So, but anyway, yeah, that's the only thing I'm like, oh my God, why did somebody not tell him? Like, don't throw it to Jalen Ramsey. Like, that's it. I don't care. But anyway, okay, continue.
Now, I'm taking a look at the next few games on the schedule. It's a tough week next week. You have Jacoby Brissett in week 4 in Miami because
thank God.
Tua got put on IR. Yeah, easy dubs. And then you have Baltimore after that. So you're talking about going up against the division champion, a team that always just plays hard no matter what. And then freaking the product of LSU, Lamar Jackson, ergo to Carl right there, Mr. Gator. Like, those are a tough 3 games. Right. If we go 0-3 in these next 3 games, then my panic meter is going to start rising real quick on a week-by-week basis. But 2 weeks in, to quote Aaron Rodgers, relax. We're not done yet.
RELAX. Tade, where are you panicking, bud? Where are you at?
Please point to number 7.
I'm at I'm a 7. No, I'm not a 7. I'm at like a 3 and a 4, not because for a couple of reasons. Not like anything to do with like Carson Wentz, surprisingly. It's more about our injuries we're getting and our play calling that are kind of killing me. Because Frank Reich loves to gun it. He loves to go for it. He loves to fight for it. I hate it. I simply hate it. I like it when you go for the points. The points mean you win games. We would have been fine in our playoff game last year if we had gone for the points.
But after so long of having pretty conservative coaching from Tony Dungy to Jim Caldwell to Chuck Pagano,
goal line, go for it. That's fine. Not if you're at the 30-yard line. It's 4-1. Just go for the kick. Go for the points. It's the beginning of the game.
But the only thing is
there's a difference.
The only thing is, I would argue against Matt Stafford, the dude has an absolute cannon. One play and you're already down real quick. And the same thing goes last week because you have Tyler Lockett there. One bad play and you're already down. So I can understand being aggressive, playing the numbers.
Rhodes wasn't in.
Yeah,
I miss Xavier Rhodes now, so much. Fine.
Miss Xavier Rhodes so much.
He's gonna be back, so it's fine.
So all right. So my panic, I'm between a 4 and a 5. Basically, it has nothing to do with the first 2 games, to be honest with you. It has nothing to do with the first 2 games, and even being 0-2 is not why my panic meter is up there. It's the fact that if you just look at the numbers. So Michael mentioned that great tough 3-game stretch on the road that they're about to face. Tennessee, Miami, and Baltimore, all on the road. Think about the fact that if they go 2-3 in that stretch, right? We're feeling good about that stretch, right? You take 2 out of 3 of those, you're feeling good. They'll still be sitting at 2-3 on the year. That's the problem with falling back. So, that's the problem with being 0-2 out of the gates. So anyway, that's the scary thing. The other scary thing when it comes to panicking is the fact that right now, this week, this is the game that's panics me the most, because you got to go into Tennessee, and that's a division game against the team that you're going to be gunning for 17 weeks, trying to get that division crown. This is a must-win game. So in a must-win situation, yeah, my panic level goes up, whatever the rest of the boundaries are. So this is absolutely a must-win game in Tennessee. You've got to start putting it together. Tade, you talk about Frank Reich and how aggressive he is. That we talk about it each week when it happens. Listen, I love the fact that dude, Frank Reich, has come in here and said, hey, I'm going to be an aggressive coach. I'm going for it. And then he goes for it, doesn't get it, doesn't apologize, and then goes for it again. Like, I respect the sticking to your guns, that saying, hey, look, this is what I do. This is what I was brought in here to do. And I'm going to keep doing it. And also, I tell you guys this, I know every single time we watch these games live and text and they don't get it, and you're like, see, it was a dumb decision. Mm-hmm. I always like to point out that, like, it's a results-based argument, because if they go for it and get it, all of a sudden it inevitably happens every time. Frank Reich goes for it, gets it, and gets praised, right? Gets praised and always, he has the balls to go for it and the guts to do it, and he gets it, and yay, everything's happy. But then you go for it and you don't get it. Well, he's a bleeping moron and he doesn't know anything. It's all based on the results. Now, with that aside, the problem that I have with it is what you also were saying, Tade, is the play calling. Is the fact that, like, look, I don't mind you going for it on 4th and 1 when you're at the 2-yard line, or even when you're at the 30, because you're sitting there doing the numbers in your head. You're like, look, I've got a second-year kicker who I need to keep his confidence as high as possible. Let's not throw him out on a 50-yard kick and make him feel like he can't kick the ball if he misses it. I would rather trust my offense to get another half yard, and then I would rather trust my defense to still get a stop, basically in touchback area at the 25 to 30-yard line. You're not really giving up a lot of field position if you turn the ball over on the 30. Now, with the touchback being all the way to the 25, you're not giving up a lot of starting field position more often than not. So I don't mind the thought process there. Like with all of those factors in play, I don't mind the thought process. But then when it comes down to it, and the shot and the play clock is winding down, and you're out there lined up, and you're like, what am I going to draw up on a fourth and half a yard? I know, let's try to shovel pass it to Jack Doyle, who's not even looking for the ball on the goal line. Like, you can't be that cute with it on 4th and half a yard.
True.
Your whole team motto is run the damn ball. Pound that ball right up the gut, hit him in the nose, pick up that yard, move on, and find a way into the end zone. That's the biggest issue we've seen in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's the biggest issue we've seen in 2 weeks so far, is this offense. Like, you guys have seen the same offense for 2 weeks that I've seen, right? This offense can move the ball with Carson Wentz at will. Like, those were 2 really good defenses that offense sort of carved them up and moved between the 20s at will. The problem became when the field shortened and we got in the red zone, they got too cute. They were afraid to take shots in the end zone. And then they ended up with 3rd and goal from the 8, and there's not a lot you can do at that point. So my biggest issue right now is with the play calling, is the fact that all of a sudden, instead of just keeping with what works and keeping it going, we decide to get really cute with it on a 3rd and 2 or a 4th and 1 when we're going for it. If you're going to go for it on 4th down, I don't care if that defense knows, hey, they're going to try to run it up the gut. Get behind Quentin Nelson and pick up half a freaking yard. Just do it. Just run the damn ball and move the chains and put the ball back in Carson Wentz's hand. That's my biggest gripe so far, is the play calling. Obviously, the injuries are inevitable. You go through them. It sucks, but it is what it is. So, yeah, the injuries aside are tough. And you know what? the Colts also always seem to start off slow. Like they're never that team that starts off 8-0 and then cools off. They're that team that starts off 1-5 and then wins 9 out of 10 to sneak into the playoffs. So
at least here lately.
Right now it's weathered the storm, and we had 2 really tough games back to back out the gate. Take it with a grain of salt. Yet again, we have a new quarterback in a new offensive system. It's going to take some time for things to gel, and just look for the positives right now. And the positives are the offense can move the ball between the 20s, and they will figure out how to punch it in the end zone and score points. I believe in that. And I believe in this Colts defense figuring out, again, how to play better than they've played through the first 6 quarters of those 2 games so far. They looked really good in the second half last week against the Rams, and until they gave up the fight, the lead in the fourth quarter there. But inevitably they looked good, but they've had some holes as well, so they'll shape up. I mean, this thing will come together for the Colts, so that's why I'm not panicking too much. I'm only panicking because I'm like, man, it's going to suck if they go 2-3 in the next 3 games, which feels really good, but then you're still looking down the barrel of a 2-3 start to the year. So that it's a tough situation that you put yourself in. Let's talk about what has been the most either surprising or impressive position that we've seen so far out of the Colts in 2 games. I know it's been losses, but who or what has kind of caught your eye so far, guys?
Wide receivers, especially number 17, Mike. I can't pronounce his last name.
It's weird because I want to say Straken, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's like Strawn. I think it's Strawn. Actually.
Strawn.
I think it's Strawn.
But the wide receiver group, especially missing their leader in T.Y. Hilton. Maybe not the best receiver in the room, but their leader in T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
And that's a big piece that's missing, and I feel like that would be a piece that would really help Carson right now. But regardless,
security blanket for sure.
But regardless, we all talked about earlier in the season how Carson likes these big targets, and shocker, one of the biggest wide receivers that we have on the team is just very quietly popping off. It's another late round pick, like a certain number 13, but it's been really impressive to see how quickly this young, very young group of wide receivers has kind of come together around their quarterback, who is under duress, constantly scrambling, running for his life, and still not giving up, finding a way to get open, hanging on to the ball. That catch that Pittman had last week on third and long,
40-yard bomb.
Oh my goodness. Michael Pittman is taking a huge leap forward that we all really wished he would have started to show last year. I don't care though. I'm happy it's happening right now.
I was going to say he took that leap in the Buffalo game. Yeah, but he was a rookie and he was the best player out there.
Yeah.
What? He's a wide receiver. He can only do so much to make the team win. Okay.
He has to be given the ball.
He's got it. Yeah. Come on. There's a lot
throwing it away.
There's a lot that has to go right for a wide receiver to make an impact on the game. And there's a lot that's out of their control. He can't control how long his quarterback gets time for those deep routes. He can't control his defense giving up 30 plus points. He can't control defense jumping off sides on a field goal that would have limited the damage and instead giving Buffalo a touchdown right before the half. All of that is out of Pittman's control. Anyway, carry on.
But I've been really, really, really impressed by even Ashton Doolin on special teams. Not even offensively, on special teams, getting his first touchdown in his career.
That was cool.
This group of wide receivers is tough. They're hungry. They want to go out there and prove to themselves and to prove to the other 31 teams, heck, maybe even the Colts too, that they should have taken a chance on them sooner and that they deserve to be fed. Even though this is a very run-first offense, you have to be able to be careful for the short to intermediate game and then play action deep bombs whenever the running game is fixed.
Yeah. Tade, what unit has impressed you the most?
Oh.
Do you want me to go? Do you need to think about it?
Well, no units really impressed me the most. If I want to say that.
Give me a unit that's impressed you then. Give me a positive. We got to find it. We got to find some bright spots.
Naheem Hines
in this
is really
0-2
good
start.
still.
Okay.
I want to say the running backs, but they've been kind of stifled thanks to the line sucking. Because the defense, it's choppy right now because not everybody's there. The offensive line, it's choppy because they suck and they're injured.
Mm-hmm.
QB play, only one out of the three QBs are good, so this is an issue. The running backs, hey, Marlon Mack got 3 touches, so good to see him back. Naheem Hines,
very, very good.
He's playing well. Jonathan Taylor starting off the year like he did last year. That's fine. He'll pick it up later on. So the running backs are at least giving me hope. But as long as you don't run it on the first play of every single drive, I'll be happy.
Yeah, thank you, because that goes back to when I was talking about the play calling. I'm tired of 2 games now we've seen where, we've got 1st and goal from the 8 and let's run the ball up the middle for 2 plays and end up with 3rd and goal from the 6. Like, no, you're at the 8-yard line and you've got big, tall wide receivers, like Michael said, that he's gushing over. Like, put them on fades, get them to the end zone, take some shots. Like Jonathan Vilma last week, calling that game against the Rams, was literally begging Frank Reich and the Colts inside the red zone to take some shots into the end zone from 15. He's like, you have Carson Wentz, like, and wide receivers that'll go up and get the ball. Like, why are we trying to, again, be too cute? Run a 10-yard post out route and get in the end zone? Like, take a shot into the end zone. Why are you afraid all of a sudden to throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field? Like, you've been moving the ball at will from the 20. Now all of a sudden you're afraid to do it because you're close to the end zone. Like, so anyway, it's funny because for me, honestly, the unit or the player that's impressed me the most has been the quarterback, has been Carson Wentz. Mm-hmm. That man has shown me a lot in 2 games. Like, let's be honest, I had never really watched Carson Wentz in Philly. There was no reason for me ever to tune in. Like, I didn't care.
What? You're not a big Philly fan?
No, can't say that I am. So never, didn't really watch him. By the time they made their playoff run and won the Super Bowl, like, I was watching Nick Foles. So but listen, in 2 games, that man, like, I have felt so sorry for him. And I have also been so impressed by what he's doing because, so not only is he obviously more athletic than Phillip Rivers was last year and moving around the pocket and being able to extend plays with his legs and with his arm, things that Phillip Rivers could not do last year.
Yeah.
Not only is he doing that, but what's really impressing me the most with Wentz is between the ears, is his decision making. You can go back and watch the film if you're so inclined, but you can see him. You can see the entire thought process going through his mind when he's getting pressured immensely right from the snap, having people in his face. You can still see him not panicking, going through his progressions and making the right decision. Like, whether it's checking down to Naheem Hines for a 3-yard pickup instead of chucking that deep ball. I mean, there have been multiple times where I've seen him on a play action play, obviously looking for a deep receiver, and literally go to throw it and then hold back and check down because he wasn't actually open. Like, I just gush over seeing, quarterbacks be smart up here, because that's obviously what a big part of their success here in Indy was with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, was not necessarily their God-given talent. It was their brain being able to not panic in panicking situations and make the right decision. So it's nice to see Carson Wentz doing that 2 games in, when he's getting, no help from his line, almost no help from his run game because his line is depleted, and not very much help from his defense. He is still, so far in 2 games, he's been the reason they were even in either of those games in positions to win at times. So I've been uber impressed with Carson Wentz. Michael, you talked about that Michael Pittman bomb that he caught, that 42-yard play last week against the Rams on 3rd down. You know what is the key part of that play is Carson Wentz being this close to Aaron Donald on a free rush and still getting that ball off perfectly 40 yards down the field. Like, I'm sorry. If Aaron Donald is that close to me, ready to destroy me, the last thing I'm thinking is I'm not throwing this football. Like, I'm going to cry and fall to the ground. So the fact that Wentz literally stood there and was like, that's the best defensive player in the entire NFL, and he's 2 inches from me on a third down, about to destroy me, and he's going to destroy me. There's nothing I can do to avoid getting my clock rocked by him right now. But hey, I'm at least going to get this ball off down the sideline on a dime 40 yards to Michael Pittman. I mean, impressive as hell.
How much of this do you think was revenge for Carson Wentz, though? Because you got to think, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and Carson Wentz got hurt when he was in that MVP contention, right?
Yep.
What team was he playing against when he tore his ACL?
The Rams.
Exactly.
The Rams.
And you also got to think.
Do you know how? Do you know how bad he probably wanted to finish that game last week? Like we saw him on the sideline, like visibly pissed off that he could not go.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can't tell me that man doesn't want it. That's the other thing that's impressive is, like, you can't tell me that man doesn't want it or doesn't care. Like, we've all seen Jay Cutler be like, yeah, my pinky hurts. I'm gonna go sit on this recumbent bike over here.
Smoke a cigarette, fun. Just kind of chill. Like, oh, yeah.
So,
AFC title game,
I mean,
yeah, man, ankles bleeding.
I'm Gucci. So yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like, he wanted revenge for that for sure.
And I don't think he's too phased by pressure after playing in Philadelphia, because I've watched a bit of Eagles games. My ex knew somebody on the Eagles, so we watched as many of their games as we could. And
I'm so sorry.
Shout out Corey Clement. But constantly having guys like Olivier Vernon on the Giants when he was good. Oh God, what's his name? 90. He's out right now on the Cowboys. I hate that I can't remember his name. I can picture his face, but he's out right now. He wears number 90 on the Cowboys, but he is actually a very good Randy Gregory, I think.
Gregory, my boy.
Yeah. But having good pass rushers, that's the one thing I will give that division credit. They get after the quarterback in that division.
Yeah.
The Eagles don't have a line. And so he was facing guys coming up. Last year, Chase Young. Like, he had constant pressure from good defensive lines. So you think he saw Aaron Donald rushing after him, kind of knowing where Michael Pittman was, and went, ha! And just yeeted that thing as hard as he could and landed a perfect dime right in there on 3rd and long, fading off his back foot and getting rocked. Like, it's something he's, unfortunately for him, used to, which shouldn't. It's not okay when we've been touted as the top offensive line in the league. Like, this is not okay at all.
Yeah.
Last week was just a slight exception because it was Aaron Donald. Seattle, there was no exception for that. They do not have a great defensive line. There was no excuse for how that team played.
So, and that's the last deep dive part of this deep dive for the Colts that I wanted to do was, what. So we went with what unit or players impressed us. Let's go the opposite. What's disappointed us the most so far in this 0-2 start? I'll kick us off. It's been the O-line. I know they've had injuries to deal with, and we didn't have Eric Fisher week 1, but we knew that. We knew we weren't going to have Eric Fisher week 1. There was no excuse to not be prepared to be without Eric Fisher week 1. I know we weren't expecting to lose Braden Smith to injury, and that is a big thing. That's a big part of that offensive line, maybe an underrated part of that offensive line, but a valuable one. But you know what? That's one part of a 5-man line, and you've got to be able to make up that loss. I love Braden Smith, but he's not Quentin Nelson. You didn't lose Quentin Nelson. So the fact that they looked as bad as they did against Seattle, I know the Rams, it was a lot of Aaron Donald busting through the line, and that just inevitably caused the havoc. It was a domino effect because he's Aaron freaking Donald, and he was going up against poor first name redacted, last name Davenport, and putting him on his ass play after play after play to the point where I was like, every replay I was like, I bet Davenport's on his ass. Hey, there he is. Like, he tortured that man in week 2. But yeah, that Seattle one was really an eye opener because I haven't seen that offensive line play that poorly in 4 years. It feels like that line, like I don't understand how that exact offensive line protected immobile statuesque Phillip Rivers last year, but can't seem to protect Carson Wentz, who's a magician in the pocket, by the way, dodging people left and right and getting play and extending plays and getting balls off that he has no business getting off. And they can't seem to prevent him from getting hit 26 times through 2 games. So absolutely right now it's on the offensive line. And then the cherry on top of it, by the way, okay, fine. You can't protect your quarterback. Big question mark. No idea what's going on, but whatever, we'll move on. Again, I come back to the run the damn ball. And guess what? The offensive line is probably the biggest reason we have been able to run the damn ball the last couple of years. And the fact that yet again, now all of a sudden they don't seem to remember how to pass block or run block. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know if they missed the memo on when the season started.
They hate breakfast foods. No more pancakes allowed.
So I have been most disappointed in the offensive line, basically because they are the unit I think that has underperformed the most. The defense, as great as it is, we know they can be spotty, and they are prone to giving up big plays and bending and not breaking and giving up more points than they probably should as a top 10 unit. Like, that's what we expect from that defense as a whole. The wide receivers have been a bright spot, like you said. The quarterback play has improved. The running backs haven't had a chance to even show us what they can do 2 weeks in. It all comes back to the offensive line. The defensive line is very young. I expect them to start getting after the quarterback, but they're very, very young up front there. Outside of DeForest Buckner, who obviously is just a god. But so it's been the offensive line that has surprised and disappointed me the most 2 games in. How about you guys?
Yeah, offensive line's trash.
So. All right, Todd, just short and simple and to the point, I guess.
I like it.
Is that your pick, Todd?
Yeah.
Okay, well, great. That opens up my whole thing, which is defense. We were the number 1 team against the run last year. Where did that go? Like, Darius Leonard's still Darius Leonard.
Sure.
But there is no excuse for how every other team has just been able to kind of put up yards, put up points that, especially in the second half of last year, that wasn't a thing. Even in the first half when we were losing games, they weren't that bad. The only slight tinkly little bright spot on that entire garbage defense for just big chunk plays, everything's going wrong, is Rock Ya-Sin doesn't have a PI yet. Captain PI has not shown up yet. Woo, congratulations. You still let Tyler Lockett get blown by you every single time, but you know what? It's fine. Whatever. No PI, right? Jesus.
Listen, I defended it live when it happened. I guess I have to do it again. On that particular play, yes, he got burned, but what is he supposed to do when he plays 10 yards off of him? Nobody presses Tyler Lockett at the line, and Tyler Lockett just gets a running start. You can't catch up to him. It's impossible. There literally was nothing he could do. That was just a poor defensive call on 2nd and 20 to play that far back and back off, knowing, hey, they're probably going to take a shot here because, I don't know, it's 2nd and 20 and the first half is winding down. So they played a prevent defense that couldn't prevent a nosebleed. So it's not on Rock Ya-Sin there for that particular play. I will just say that.
But no PI. I'll take it.
Also, coaching changes. That's one reason why the defense isn't good.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I guess another shout out. I will say I have been impressed so far with Marcus Brady, new offensive coordinator. Again, I think they're moving the ball almost at will against 2 decent defenses. They will figure out those plays to get them in the end zone.
Will they though?
They will.
They don't invest very well.
They will. I mean, let's be honest. Look, the offensive line is going to get better and back to shape. That will open up the running game. That's going to take pressure off Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has already shown us he can throw the ball on a dime at will and accurately and move the ball. Like this domino effect will come in at some, hopefully sooner rather than later. But like, I fully believe in this offense, and I've liked what this offense has done so far. Inside the 5-yard line, they need to stop being cute. They need to beat the crap out of teams and get in the end zone. But like, I've been impressed with first year offensive coordinator 2 games in, Marcus Brady. Like, I like it. He's been fine. He's been good. I want him to call plays over Frank Reich really at this point. So I'm okay. Like, I'm tired of it. I like the aggressiveness of Frank Reich going for it on these 4th downs and whatnot, but I'm tired of these he's either too predictable or he's cutesy. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, last bit on the Colts. It's just quick. Are we changing our perception on them as a playoff team or AFC contender after 2 weeks? Are we jumping off of that bandwagon at all yet?
No.
Okay. No.
Everyone else
I'm not
sucks.
either. Like we said, it was almost an inevitable 0-2 start when the schedule came out. You knew they probably weren't going to win week 1 because they'd never win week 1. And then you knew they would play better in week 2, but it's the Rams, and the Rams are good. So no reason to freak out over those 2 particular games. It sucks that they're back-to-back, and it sucks that they're the first ones of the year, and now you have to look at an 0-2 record. But at the end of the season, we'll shape up. It'll be all right. So, no, I'm still fully expecting an 11-win, 12-win season and a division title and a deep playoff run. So, nope, I'm not changing my outlook at all after 2 games. Okay, no. That is going to about wrap it up for our NFL part. Michael, we are going to pass the buck off to Tade with some betting news, but I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to let you talk about what you want to talk about when it comes to that. But regardless, I want you to know we're proud of you. Even if you can't tell us exactly what's going on, we're proud of what we know has happened behind the scenes. How's that?
Ladies and gentlemen, because I pissed off DraftKings, I am now a top follower according to DraftKings on their DraftKings social. Whoopsies. You're welcome, everybody. Story is basically I post all their stupid specials that you're not supposed to bet on. So one of them was this past Thursday. It was the Carolina game. It was the game is the score will be over 0.5. The line was minus 10,000. I posted on social. I'm like, if I was a millionaire, I'd hit this line so hard. And then I bet on it too. And then DraftKings, their top followers page says, go follow at Toddle5. Make sure to get this easy line he's showing. And you know what DraftKings does immediately? They shut off the line. So you couldn't bet on it. So they were following me just to take out all the lines I'm telling people to do.
So they made you look bad.
But it got me followers, so I'll take it. And I've been just accumulating them since. And I'll take it. But I also post about the NFT marketplace, which is why people follow me, because I'm like explaining how to do that. Because they don't tell you how it works. And I've won it like 5 times now. And I've gotten like $800 off it. So
heck yeah.
I'll take it. But no. I'm going to post my underdogs of who I think is going to win this weekend. I'm only taking underdog money lines. Michael can toss in who he's going to throw bets on because he's following some DraftKings now because he's my disciple, but he doesn't listen to me about hedging. So shame on you.
I may have been risking it for the biscuit here lately.
You've been risking it too much. You're supposed to hedge to get money and then use the money to bet more. Then you run out if you lose too much. That's not good.
No. I'm still Gucci. I'm still good. I'm still positive, net positive overall.
That's what matters. That's what matters.
That's what matters.
Stop putting in more money.
Reds just walked off the Nationals. Let's go. Sorry.
Did you bet on it?
No, damn it.
Real Real quick here, Chris is here just to stoke the fires a little bit because it's fun for me when we talk about the betting because they talk about Tade's discipling Michael and all this and that, and Michael put a suggestion in our chat this morning. He's like, should I bet on Penn State to beat Wisconsin?
He said
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Oh, my bad. And he's like, and he said no, and he was wrong. So continue.
It's not my fault. Notre Dame scored 31 points in the fourth.
Can I say something that's absolutely hilarious that could not have been perfectly timed?
What?
Dance,
so
puppets,
while
dance.
you were coming after me really quick, and before I said the Reds walked off, Nick Castellanos hit a solo shot to left field to win the game while you were talking smack. So the bad thing that happened after Nick Castellanos would hit a home run was apparently my death. So here we go.
That man hit. How many home runs has he hit so far?
I think that was like
about
34.
97.
He's been on a roll.
He has been. Good for him.
Yeah, that was my sleeper pick for the day. I didn't put any money on it because when Tade says don't bet, I don't bet. Like that is my rule.
I didn't say don't bet. I said
it.
don't bet on that. Yeah, you're right. But you know what?
He says
You did.
don't do it.
You did.
Red
I've
flag,
got there's a
do
text we can find.
Wisconsin ruined me on my parlay.
We got receipts.
My 5-game parlay, they ruined it.
And if you would have listened to me,
puppets, dads,
it would have hit.
Well, I'm so sorry. Notre Dame sucks. How was I supposed to know they were going to win?
They blew the wheels off him, though. It wasn't like it was a close game and it was a game-winning drive. No, it was 41-13.
It was a close
an
game.
absolute
Did you watch
blowout.
that game?
No, I was at work.
Yeah, it was a close game until the
Some
fourth.
people do more than just place bets all day, Tade.
It was a close game
on.
until the fourth. I was watching it with my buddy Matt, and it was a close game until the fourth, and they just went off because then Wisconsin gave up once they scored once, and then they're like, interception after this. Interception's like, the game's already over. Let it end.
Let it die.
They wouldn't let it end. But anyways, I have a few picks for. So first one, Rams over Tampa Bay. I got the line at plus 126. So that's my first underdog to win. Because Tampa has a couple guys injured on defense. So it gives the Rams a better chance. Second, it's because I believe, even though Green Bay has their left tackle out, I'm picking Green Bay over San Francisco. That line is at plus 150 right now that I got on. Next is the Colts.
Green Bay's the underdog? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, I picked up the Colts line at plus 190 when I heard Carson Wentz is probably going to start. I threw money on that because I'm not an idiot. And then my last team is the Atlanta Falcons are the underdogs right now at plus 130. And I threw a bet down on them because the Giants have players hurt also. So those are my underdog teams to win this weekend. Straight money line. I don't do spreads.
I don't do spreads.
I hate spreads. They're so stupid.
We need that on a t-shirt.
I want to point out, I don't know how clear this is going to be, but I put my money where my mouth is. I made every single bet that Tade just made.
No,
so
don't follow me.
If you screw me over, Tade. If you screw me over, Tade.
Well, what
you know
lines
what?
Are they? Did you get all underdog
what?
lines? Oh, did you use the boosts?
I used the boosts.
Okay. No, you shouldn't have. You should have had the cash out option available. You messed up.
You know what? I'm gonna tip my hat to Michael there because that's a baller move right there because he wins either way. Either he wins and gets his money, or he wins and can rub it in Tade's face that he was wrong.
Half of my teams are gonna win, but I'll still make money in the end.
I'm just saying it's a baller
obviously,
move.
Obviously, me personally, I'm a little bit selfish about this. I want to win the money. I don't care if I come on here next week and Tade was like, I told you. I don't care. I'm going to wipe them tears with them dollar bills. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that's gonna be it.
Cool.
Michael, how much money did you spend on them?
Hey, thank the bank
6.
account.
I did $2 a piece.
Oh, okay. I did
$2 a piece.
I went 5 to 15.
I was not going to be that aggressive because if they lose, I
don't care if you lose a couple bucks.
My pride would be really hurt.
My issue is you can't cash out if you think the teams are going to lose. I always have the cash out option.
No, I don't cash out. Mama didn't raise no. You know what I'm saying? Mama didn't raise no.
So the best part of October coming up next week is we get the wonderful event that is the Major League Baseball playoffs. It's a magical time. History is made. Heroes are born and created. It's wonderful. I'm not a very good storyteller, so we'll skip on the drama of it. But we've got playoff baseball around the corner. Listen, my Cubs gave up in June, and I'm still excited for the playoffs as a whole. I just am. I can't help myself. Like, I hate baseball right now. I hate the Cubs organization and the Ricketts, and I can't stand it, any of it. And I want to so bad.
It's okay, buddy.
I want to so bad walk away from baseball for the year, right? Like, I want to walk, like, in my mind, there's this perfect world where I get to walk away from the sport for 6 months, go like rediscover myself and fall in love with me and come back a better man. But no, I can't do it. I need it. I need it so much. I have to watch it. I have to put myself through it, even if I'm taping my eyelids open to watch the painful goddamn St. Louis Cardinals in the playoff once again. It's not even that much to make me stop. I can't not do it. I just can't. And, you know, I will admit, it's going to be a very interesting playoff run this year. We have a lot of moving pieces and teams that, I mean, we've got wildcard teams that could win it all. I think it's going to be a hell of a playoff time, especially because, truth be told, I don't think there's an extremely dominant team that's expected to just run through this thing and win it all. Like, I don't see the Dodgers of last year, Michael, or the Red Sox of 2018, where you're like, yeah, it's kind of inevitable, right? And it was. Like, I personally, I don't see that this year. I just don't. I could be wrong, but I really am I'm excited. I think it's going to be a super fun run, like playoff run.
No, it won't be, because the Dodgers are going to lose or win it all. And then you all be upset.
Okay.
Those are the two options. Yep.
They lose in the wild card or they win it all. You're welcome.
My God.
I'm calling it.
So, all right, Tade. Thanks. I appreciate you jumping in.
The Giants are going to win it all because they always do every other year with the Cardinals. Now we're back to that.
God, please.
Chris Bryant gets a ring again.
Listen.
Please no.
If he gets a ring to shove it up the Ricketts' ass, okay, I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for it.
Put it on the middle finger, too. Get it sized for the middle finger.
So good. Get a little engraving in there. Oh.
Actually, that'd be really funny. Like, what fingers do they do if they have two rings? Like, index and ring, or just like these two or these two?
Index and middle. I mean, if you do it on one hand,
be good for punching.
Right in the middle there.
Let's ask Daryl Strawberry. He has two rings. Or did he pawn them
out? Yes and yes. Yes and yes.
Yeah, I figured he
had two rings.
His daughter go looking for them or something.
So, I think so. So, anyway, back to 2021. We're about to hit the playoffs right now, currently live, Saturday, September 25th, 2021. The San Francisco Giants, first off, let's congratulate them. They're the first team this year to 100 wins. If you had put money down on that at the beginning of the year, you're probably a millionaire right now, because nobody would have guessed that at all. So congrats to them. But, man, the Dodgers are hanging in there. They're only one game back of the division, by the way. Like, they have 100 – the Giants have 100 wins, and they have not locked up their division. And – we've got some teams with a lot less wins that have locked up their division. And
the Dodgers could clinch their 100th win tonight if they find a way to rally back against the Diamondbacks.
Yep. Yeah, they're down 5-1 currently, I think, in the sixth. So the National League West. So the National League West is, in fact, a two-team race here at the end of September, like we all predicted. It's just not the two teams we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be the San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Padres are floating around 500. Unbelievably, they are 78-76, with all of that money spent, all of the trades they've made, all that they've invested in big league talent, for them to be at 500 essentially this year has got to be the most disappointing team of the year. And I'm including the Cubs, who sold the ship. Like, I would truthfully be more disappointed as a Padres fan, just as on a results basis. Like,
the cover curse.
I don't know about that one. See,
it's not Madden. It's fine. So
their pitching's hurt. Like, it's rough.
Yeah.
They're getting hurt at the literal worst possible time when the Cardinals have apparently figured it out. This is when you need to peak. Like, absolutely go off and go nuts. 15 straight wins. Yeah, if there's one team that we did not want to see in this, people, like, understandably, we both have very different sides of the altar right now, but if there's one thing we can both universally agree on is screw the Cardinals every single time. No doubt.
Never fails. But yeah, so the National League West has been one of the top divisions all year. It was a 3-team race for a while there until the Padres fell off. The wheels fell off their season. And as grueling as 162 games is in baseball, sometimes it happens that quickly. It's always fascinating whenever it happens, whenever a team's season falls off the rails in a matter of 2 weeks, because they absolutely tank and lose out of nowhere. The National League East is also a lot of fun right now. It's become a 2-team race with only a 1-game difference. The Atlanta Braves are currently at 81-72, and they're only holding a 1-game lead now over the Phillies, who are surging. They've won 5 straight and 8 of their last 10, and they're only 1 game behind for that National League East division. So that one, I think, will be almost more fun to watch, because the loser or the second place team in the National League East is going to be out of the playoffs, whereas the second place team in the National League West is at least going to have a wild card game to play. So, it's do or die in the East right now. So that's a lot of fun. The National League Central is essentially, fingers crossed, all but wrapped up. With the Brewers win tonight, they are as close as you can be to clinching a division. Their magic number is now 1, because the Cardinals ended up beating the Cubs for their 15th straight win. They kept their division hopes alive, even though it's a 7-game difference right now between Milwaukee and St. Louis. But Milwaukee putting together, by the way, an absolutely incredible season. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that Christian Yelich wouldn't be himself basically all year, and the Brewers would get major offensive contributions from Willy Adames, Luis Urias, among others, guys that you might have maybe heard of before, but have never really, been that A-level player on a playoff caliber team, to come together and find a way to be sitting right now at 93-62 on the year, is just hats off to them. Very incredible, very impressive. However it shakes out, they've had a hell of a year. So that's the National League right now. In the American League, the East is officially clinched tonight. The Tampa Bay Rays win their 2nd straight AL East division title. So good on them. They've got 96 wins on the year. They are going to be a tough out in come playoff time. They're just super solid. They're that team that is super duper solid. They don't necessarily have, the superstars, guiding them, but they're just solid all the way around. They don't make mistakes. They play great defense. Their pitching is, above average and lights out when it needs to be. And their offense just timely hitting and getting it done. It reminds me a lot of Joe Madden's Rays back in the day. And, they beat you with small ball and timely hitting. And that's kind of how this team does it too. And in a division that ended up being a tough fight, with Boston and New York and Toronto all playing above 500, well above 500 ball. Hell, they all have 85 wins or more. Like, to run away with that division with those teams chasing you all year is very impressive and deserves all the credit in the world. The AL Central, we knew it was going to be kind of a cakewalk division for the White Sox. But I'm still, you still have to be super impressed with how the White Sox year has played out so far, just because of all the injuries they had, especially right out the gate. They lost Luis Robert for the first 3 months of the year. Yaz was up and down for a long time there. Obviously, Eloy Jimenez has, come back from the heavens to join them on the field. Because, he was dead and gone at the start of the year. So they weathered that storm, held serve, and then surged when they got healthy, which is exactly what you want a team like that to do. They're going to be scary as well come playoff time. I wouldn't want to face them. So they clinched the AL Central. Congrats to them. The AL West, the Houston Astros are leading that one by 5.5 games over Seattle.
Oh, wow, the Astros. Who would have guessed it? Nobody.
Yeah. Over Seattle, though, who is on a 6-game win streak, by the way, to keep their playoff hopes alive. They're 7-3 in their last 10. And I would love to see a team like Seattle in the playoff hunt somehow, some way, especially if Oakland isn't going to find their way into that wildcard game. Replace them with Seattle, and I'm happy. Speaking of those wildcard matchups, Michael, right now, man, we've got the Dodgers and the Cardinals. Looks like that's probably going to be our wild card matchup. It might be the Giants if the Dodgers end up taking the division. But it looks like with 15 straight wins in September, once again, the Cardinals have used their black magic witchcraft and whatever soul selling, spell they put on their franchise to play 800 ball in September has struck yet again. So for a team that, at some point in summer looked dead in the water, they've definitely surged and came out of nowhere. So anyway, our wildcard matchup will looks like it's going to be the Cardinals versus either the Giants or the Dodgers, whoever doesn't win that division. And then in the AL, we've got a fun one. It looks like if it holds serve now, it'll be an AL East matchup between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Talk about a 1-game wild card playoff game. Holy crap. And obviously the headlines there is 2 former Cubs going up against each other. It's Rizzo and Kyle Schwarber. Nobody's going to be talking about anybody else in that matchup, clearly. So for a fact that Fox and ESPN right now are salivating over the storylines they could get out of a Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees wild card 1-game playoff. They're going to milk that cow so much.
Which city will burn to the ground first? Let's find out.
So, Michael, I know I've talked for the last 10 minutes or so, but quick thoughts really on just on baseball this year. And has it been kind of what we truly expected? What have we seen? I mean, we're putting a bow on the 2021 regular season, believe it or not.
Which I always hate this time of year because I love baseball season. I don't watch every game. I don't even try to watch every game. I watch as many as I reasonably can. But this year just had a complete different feel. And I don't know if it was fans being back in the stands or the sudden emergence of the next generation. I mean, Juan Soto was already there, but guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette took another step. Shohei Ohtani, you name it. The list goes on. Jonathan India, Frank Schwindel, Patrick Wisdom, all of these guys who have just kind of come out of nowhere and really took huge steps forward this year. It's awesome. It's a surreal feeling, and I don't want it to stop. I don't want to be sitting there playing MLB The Show in December crying because there's no more baseball on. But all good things must come to an end. Postseason is going to be a lot of fun. Yes, my team was in the race, and then we lost the series to the Cubs and the Cardinals and the Pirates. We're not going to talk about that, though, at all. About the Reds now being fun. 6 games back.
It felt a little good. It felt a little good to be like, oh, you don't like beating that you get a bottom feeding team in September and you think you can just coast to some easy wins. Oh, no. I mean, no, we're going to take it 2 out of 3 for kicks and giggles because that's what the Reds have done to the Cubs for the last 5 freaking years when they were the ones in the hunt. Drove me insane.
I will say this, though, because I'm not going to go too deep on this, but the sudden, I don't want to say reemergence, but the very quiet resurgence of the Philadelphia Phillies seemingly looked like they were dead in the water for a little bit, or they were just going to, win some games, put up a show. Bryce Harper was going to do Bryce Harper things. But the fact that they are now in the hunt for a wild card spot, if the Cardinals and Lars Nootbaar, the GOAT of that team, were to fall off or anything like that, the Phillies are going to be nipping at their heels. The Reds, with a big win today, to hopefully kind of steamroll them back on the right track. There's a lot of pressure going into the last couple of weeks of the season, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. So this is going to be a very bittersweet couple of weeks, but we'll get through it.
Yeah, and I like that you talked about the emergence of those guys, because obviously across sports, one of the things in sports that tugs at the human heartstrings year in and year out with sports, and Tada, again, it's universally in sports, is the sudden emergence of guys that we didn't expect to blow up and become household names, or even if it's just for a moment, and sports does that. But I truly feel like somehow, some way, just the way it all seems to work, that baseball, it happens more often and it means more in baseball when these guys just become folk legends and household names for a week or two, and it's just, I don't know, and it's something about the fact that baseball just lends itself to hey, somebody's injured or somebody got traded away, and now here's your opportunity, kid. Here's your one shot at the show. You're Patrick Wisdom on the Chicago Cubs, one of the most storied franchises in baseball history. You're playing third base, so guess what? You're log jammed behind Chris Bryant and even Javi Baez. Coming into that, you're not really getting an everyday shot. All of a sudden, chaos, whatever. Chris Bryant gets traded. You're thrust into. Here you go. You're thrust into the lineup, and you're like, hey, this is your show for the next 3 months. Here's your audition. Get out there, see what you can do. And all Patrick Wisdom does is set a new Cubs rookie franchise record at 30 years old with 27 home runs and counting. And you know whose rookie record he broke? That's right, Chris Bryant back in 2015. So it comes full circle. Even, in my mind too, an even better story out of nowhere, especially talking about the Cubs again, Frank Schwindel, Frank the Tank. This guy played in Oakland. No one really, just middled around, found his way to the show in Oakland, and then ends up getting traded to the Cubs. And he plays, and again, you got a guy that plays first base. Okay, he's log jammed behind Anthony Rizzo. He's not getting a start over Anthony Rizzo. It's never going to happen. Chaos. Anthony Rizzo gets traded away. Stop me if you've heard it before. And kid, again, 28-year-old rookie gets thrust into the starting lineup for 3 months and to get said, hey, here's your audition tape. Have at it. And he has one of the most historic weeks we've seen, where he has 3 straight games or I think it was 4 straight games of recording the game-winning RBI in the 7th inning or later. It's just one of those folk legend stories that, from a dismal year in a Cubs fan perspective, you still have these bright spots and these kids that, if Rizzo and Baez and Chris Bryant don't get traded, we never hear these guys. They don't get a chance to play. And so it's kind of the beauty of the sport that, hey, now forever we'll remember that week where Frank the Tank had us all cheering in a down year. Or, hey, Patrick Wisdom sets a franchise record for rookies with home runs, and it doesn't happen if Chris Bryant doesn't get traded. So, you find these little bright spots. And I said, baseball specifically lends itself to that. I know it happens in football and basketball with injuries and things like that, but it just doesn't seem to have that same feeling when it happens in baseball. And last thing, Michael, will say on baseball is, we'll throw out a little tease. We are going to be a part of, Michael and I are going to team up with CraigCrash and B Scott of the Crash Course podcast for a baseball playoff special coming to you soon. We're not sure exactly when we're going to do that or put it out there, but we will sit down and get you fully loaded and fully ready for baseball's big stage, October baseball. So super excited and honored to be invited to be a part of that, because that's going to be a heck of a time. Tade has politely declined the invitation because he doesn't want to
boring.
talk baseball.
Playoff baseball's fun. I'll give it that, but baseball sucks. I mean, it's better than Nick Diaz getting beat up right now, but
there you go.
Oh,
I thought
I should be fighting Kamaru Usman. I should not be fighting this fight.
I thought you all were going to talk about our boy Nate Davis getting enshrined in the Ball State Hall of Fame yesterday.
Oh, he did. Oh,
and then they get
did not know
by
that.
Toledo.
Oh yeah, chirp chirp. Let's get it. All right, I think we did want to talk about. I kind of want to lend the floor to you guys a little more for college football, because it's not my wheelhouse. I know it. I follow it. I know the top 25, but
I get harassed into following college football. I hate it.
Yeah, you do. I know your friends. I know exactly I know your friends.
Michael, Jake, Matt, all of you are abusive.
They're only abusive if you let them abuse you. Like they're friends of mine too, and they're not abusing me into anything. Oh my God. So obviously, college football has gone through, we're about into week 3 as well, right? They're on the same schedule as the NFL. So, or week 4. That's right. Okay. So what have we learned, Michael, Tade? What have you guys learned early on so far in college football?
Every team is beatable. Sincerely, every single team this year
not Iowa
is beatable.
State, not Iowa. Iowa State lost. Iowa's not beatable. What are you talking about?
Did Iowa lose today? Hold on.
No, Iowa State lost though.
Whoops.
Auburn almost lost to some nobody.
Well, Auburn
Utah
almost
State.
lost. Clemson lost. Georgia
Texas
State actually.
Tech lost.
Well, yeah, they don't have Pat Mahomes.
Let's see. Oklahoma barely beat West Virginia.
No.
Shout out Arch Manning, who committed to West Virginia, by the way.
He hasn't yet, but he will.
I mean, according to Peyton, he has. So I will trust Peyton.
He's going up.
Manning when he says something. Penn State.
Black shoes, royal blues, no names on your back, as Matt would say.
If there was any cause right now for there to be an expanded playoff, I think we have seen it through the forced, almost as we're wrapping up the 4th week of college football. Like, there should be an expanded playoff, because the more opportunities we have to see some of these teams that, due to notoriety or national TV or anything like that, wouldn't normally be even in the conversation at all, be able to take out an Alabama or a Clemson who just, lost their 2nd game of the year, where they never lost a single regular season game with Trevor Lawrence behind the helm. And I think they only lost one when Deshaun Watson was behind the helm. So, this is a complete different year and feel. I don't know if it's fans. I don't know what's going on, but every team has looked beatable, with one exception so far, and that is Georgia scoring almost as many points as Vanderbilt had yards.
Yeah, they murdered them.
It
was like
that
70-7, Chris. It was bad. No, I'm thinking Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh beat New Hampshire like 77-7.
Yeah, it was 62-0. There were 62 points. Vanderbilt had 77 total yards of offense. Total. That's bad.
What did you expect? They're not a very good team. Last year, they had to have a soccer player be their punter.
That's true. I don't know.
She was fine.
The female kicker they had to bring in.
Yeah,
she was their best player last year.
But I still expected more than 70 yards of offense.
Just a little bit more, a little bit.
No,
triple digits at least.
From that trash program.
Triple digits, come on. So I don't know. The one thing I will say is I am 100% fan of expanding the playoffs. I think it's great that they went to a playoff system from the BCS.
The computer.
it always felt weird that you would go through an entire season and then, randomly decide which bowl game decided the national champion. Like, that just felt like a very weird system. Like, it almost always felt archaic to me to be like, wait, this is the best we can do. Okay. And then to switch it to a playoff system, I at least appreciated it, because then, okay, now I've got, like every other sport ever, I've got a system. I've got a playoff bracket of my best teams play each other, winners advance until there's one. Like, it's simple, but it works. And I understood why you do 4 teams at first. You test it out, you see how it goes. We're through that test period now. We need 8 teams in the playoffs. We just need, as Michael said, we need more variety. We need more games. We need more options. It lends itself to more upsets. And really, the last bit I'll say on it, the simplest reason for me that I want 8 teams is we have 5 power conferences, right? They're the Power 5 conferences. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're the best conferences in football. That's why they're the Power 5. You win one of those conferences, you're one of the best 5 teams in football. Like, you should inevitably be in the playoffs if you win a Power 5 conference. Like, the disconnect there blows my mind that we have Power 5 conference winners and not make the playoffs. It's not, we're not even to the point where we're arguing about like the Power 5 team that finished in second by 1 game and is still really freaking good because they lost 2 games all year. Like, we're not even at that point. We're talking about, oh, you were the best team in your conference. Thanks. Here's a banner. Have a good year. Go enjoy the New Year's 6 bowl over there. Go get some oranges. Have fun in the Orange Bowl. Like,
everyone, time out. Just to let you guys know, in regards to oranges, if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, you can just ask for an orange, and they'll give it to you.
For this.
Why?
Yesterday I was there because you guys went partying without me. Thank you.
This is your fault.
You could have drove. You drove.
You guys didn't invite me. No one invited me. I
told you at like 6 o'clock. Talked to you at like 6 o'clock. It's an hour drive.
The party was until 9:30. Come on, man.
Party didn't start till 10.
Shameful, you guys. Anywho, went to B-Dubs. I have a friend that's a waitress, and they gave me an orange for my drink. And I asked her, I was like, are these sliced oranges just in the back, or do you have whole oranges? She's like, we have whole oranges. I'm like, that's weird. She's like, yeah, if you just ask for an orange, we'll give it to you because we don't care. You can just ask for an orange. And they can't charge you because it's not in the system. Let that be a lesson. You can ask politely for an orange, and they won't charge you for it because it's not in the system. You can do that with a lime if you want. It's not in the system.
If we're still something new every day on this podcast, we will make sure of it. It may not be useful, but damn it, you will never forget it. 5 years from now, you'll be sitting in Buffalo Wild Wings.
I need some citrus.
I can just ask for an orange. Why do I remember that? No idea, but you'll remember it.
Do it.
You're welcome.
This is the new TikTok challenge. Ask for the orange.
It's a new TikTok challenge.
This Craig, is the devious slick.
Clip it. No, we're not talking about the devious slick challenge.
No, stop it. So we need 8 teams in the playoffs, even for the simple fact of all 5 Power 5 conference winners deserve a shot at a national title. And then, cool, now we need to find 3 other teams to round out this bracket. There's where, your Coastal Carolinas can come into play. There's where, your second best team in the Big Ten, if Ohio State wins the Big Ten and Michigan is right there, then Michigan gets a shot. Fine. It's so painfully obvious to me that 8 teams would work and make sense and needs to happen, that it pains me that it hasn't happened yet.
You said the name.
I did.
It's not okay. It's a banned word in this podcast.
No, it is
banned. There's no swearing on this.
Guest hosts don't get to make rules.
You swore. You said the team up north's real name. It's like saying Voldemort.
I didn't.
Son of a.
I didn't.
I will say though, Michigan did it very well today. Also, when they played, And they had
and
a
won
full
by
stadium
7 against Rutgers.
Michigan played really well.
Another quality
Garbage.
Big Ten team.
Michigan played really well at the game they played today. Yeah.
Matt had all the games on. He has ESPN Plus. He was just flipping through.
Yeah, I have ESPN Plus. Dude, wouldn't let me sign in. That was really sad.
I have ESPN Plus, and it will not let me watch ESPN live. Like, I get access to like the ESPN library of like all the streaming stuff of like all the 30 for 30s and all that, but I cannot watch ESPN or ESPN2 live through it.
Oh, I got you, homie. I got you.
I don't understand, but I think that's about doing it, guys. I know we went a little long today, but we've pent this up for 3 weeks now, so we've had a lot to talk about.
What do you have for us?
Actually, we do have one final thing. I did forget. So Michael, go right ahead. But I've got
This is our weird stories, right? This is what we're getting into. Weird stories in sports.
No.
Do we all have to pick one? Oh, okay. Well, here's a fun one for you. UFC fighter John Bone Jones.
Oh no, Michael
said in an interview the other day that he's getting prepared for his championship fight that's supposed to happen in the first part of next year, that he should do something legally suspect to help sell more pay-per-views. The next day, he was arrested for it's like, first of all, it was pretty bad, domestic violence, and then like injuring a vehicle. That was the weird one.
The domestic violence thing is worse.
I know. But still, the next day, he went home and went, like, what happened there? What went through this dude's brain?
It was also his indoctrination to like the Hall of Fame speech too.
Oh no.
Yes, Chris.
Is he frozen? Okay.
How do you? I'm glad you thought that, because I purposely was like, can I hold still enough that they think I'm frozen? So it worked.
He's invisible.
Yes. How do you injure a vehicle?
Bam!
That's what I want to know.
You can damage a vehicle, but in English language is super fun and simple.
It was that.
No. Michael, I should. You know what? That's my fault. I shouldn't have let him talk. This is all my fault. I shouldn't have let him talk. I was going to say we're going to wrap this up with what we'll do for all of football season. I think how we're going to end our episodes. We're going to talk about our one game of the week, kind of our games of the week that we're excited for, not Colts related, because we know every week we're going to dive into the next matchup for the Colts. So this is kind of what other game is on our eyes and why. We'll make them quick because we are trying to wrap the show up. But yep. So we will start. I'll get it started so you guys can see how it's done. Mine's pretty obvious and going to be hopefully a great matchup. We've got a repeat matchup of some past playoff games and so forth. On Sunday Night Football, we've got the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. Talk about storied franchises and powerhouse teams now, and all of these great storylines that get ready. NBC is going to shove down your throat. All about the past, but really this is about this matchup now. San Francisco, they've got some question marks at the quarterback spot. We've seen both Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance at the helm at different times. So not really sure what the idea is there. If it's just if it's more of, let's see what Trey Lance has already, or more of, we don't trust Jimmy G to get stuff done in certain situations. And we're playing this kind of chess game and picking and choosing. We've got a package for Trey Lance and a package for Jimmy G, and we're just rolling with it for now. Kind of a Miami situation from last year, it feels like, with Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick. But it's really interesting to see. But outside, San Francisco, outside of the quarterback spot, everybody seems to already kind of forget how good they were 2 years ago when they took to Super Bowl down to the wire. And how hurt how many injuries they were plagued with last year. and shortened their season quite a bit. So their expectations, I think, got tempered a lot by things that were outside of their control, and people have already forgotten how good that roster is. And so they'll get a chance to show it on primetime Sunday Night Football against, future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. It's going to be a super fun matchup. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is just getting started on his burn the world down revenge tour that is the 2021 season.
His Jeopardy retirement tour. Got it.
That's the one. I think he's starting to get into his flow, and we all know how dangerous Aaron Rodgers can be. He can throw 6 touchdowns and a half if the game lends itself to it. So that man, especially with the weapons he's got on offense, with Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams, and Randall Cobb back, that's got to be great for a security blanket, just to kind of have that guy from way back when. I think it's going to be a super fun Sunday Night Football game, and I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, I'll go ahead and go next.
Michael?
Short, simple, to the point. Ohio State guy, Buckeye born and bred. I'm going to have to go with my dude, Justin Fields, starting his first game in Ohio, in the land, in Cleveland. Chicago is a team looking to kind of find their identity still. They've had really big up and down games, but they've really played some really good football when Justin's been on the field. Not giving any discredit to Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton has been the most professional dude throughout all of this. Him being hurt on the sideline and going out there and cheering on his guy who was drafted to replace him. He was there to replace him eventually this year, potentially. And he's going out there, he's supporting him, congratulating him on a huge play out there on the field. But Cleveland, it was a team that came very close to a Super Bowl last year. They've been kind of hurt, but that's a team that in a heartbeat can put up numbers real fast. One of the best running games, the scariest defensive line, in my opinion, in the National Football League, and playmakers at wide receiver, even though, granted, they're both hurt right now with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. But that's going to be a really fun game to watch, especially if you're from Ohio. That's going to be a fun one. There goes Nick Diaz.
Yeah, Nate Diaz is done. The match is already over. I don't know what you're talking about, Michael.
That's over.
Yeah, it's been a couple minutes. My bet though is fine because I it's a new line they do. It's you can bet on if it's gonna win by decision or if it's gonna win by knockout for either person. And I said Nate Diaz by decision since it was TKO. I'm good.
Tade, what game are you looking forward to?
Anywho, I'm going to do this pretenders or contenders match. We're going to go with the Rams versus Tampa. So if the Rams win, they're contenders. If they lose to Tampa, they're pretenders. It could be an
what a bold
NFC
statement.
Championship matchup here. So contenders versus pretenders. Let's see what the Rams are made of.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I like it. So tune into those games. We've got a full slate of week 3 NFL matchups. We've got baseball playoffs right around the corner. Like I said, it's that wonderful time of year. We will be bringing you all of that coverage and recaps and everything about, what we'll be seeing in the next few months. Just keep an eye on the 3C Media channel. That's where we are. That's where CraigCrash and B. Scott's fantastic podcast is as well. We are going to be rolling out some extra content. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like or when it's coming out, but stay tuned. We've got some stuff in the works. But you know what? At the moment, I'm thankful to be back here where we belong on the MCT podcast. I've missed you guys. I'm so glad we got to do this week. We will see you next week. So have a great night.